And the last segment here should be a fun one. A couple weeks ago, I went online to the On3 website, forums, and fan pages, basically, and asked y'all for hot takes, thoughts on the upcoming season, just, the whole 9 yards. And you all delivered. First off, I started with the Oregon fan base, and now today I'll be talking about the Georgia fan base. So, Georgia fans, I appreciate you guys. Y'all are an amazing fan base, but let's go into it here. Starting off with Obi-Wan. I appreciate the Star Wars reference, but he said, with a lot of fan bases, quarterback is always a hot button. As a neutral observer, what are your thoughts on Gunnar Stockton, and more importantly, his ability to be better next year than he was this year? Next year meaning this 2026 season. So, I made a lot of Georgia videos last year basically singing praises about how good Gunnar Stockton was and how his ability to command the offense, how he was a gritty, player, all that. I think that carries over to this year easily. I'm one of these people right now, and this might be a hot take, but I think Gunnar Stockton is probably a top 3 quarterback in the SEC, in my opinion. By no means is he like the draft guy where he's going to be like, hey, he's a really high draft pick, but he's just one of those college quarterbacks where if you watch him, you're like, this dude rarely makes mistakes, which is what you want out of a quarterback. He's gritty. He puts his shoulder down. He takes contact, and he wants to win. That's probably the biggest thing. Like, as an offensive lineman, as a supporting cast around this quarterback, and you see what he does and the hits he takes and gets right back up, you're like, whoa, all right, this is our guy. Like, hey, I'll follow you anywhere. Seriously. Like, even like as a spectator myself, watching that Sugar Bowl and seeing him get hit after hit after hit, and he getting back up and still performing the way he's performing, I'm like, this dude is unbelievable. Holy. But improvement-wise, I went to 5 or 6 Georgia games last year. Thinking about improvement, like the only thing that kind of sparks my mind is just maybe running the offense a little bit more efficiently. You look at that Florida game, it was just kind of like, hey, just a little off. Georgia Tech, hey, the run game's just not there. So if he can just kind of run it a little bit more efficiently, like kind of not have those off games, because if you want to be these like top-tier programs like the Ohio States, the Indianas, the Alabama, historically speaking, Georgia also, historically speaking, like you can't have those off games. You can't, you have to be on every single week. You got to have your fastball every single week, which is incredibly hard to do. And like Kirby Smart could probably tell you firsthand, like it's hard to play your best ball every single week. But that's why the greats are great, So, in my opinion, I think Gunnar Stockton is that dude. I think he is physical. I think he throws a great deep ball. I think he knows the offense, commands the offense incredibly well. I just think I'd like to see him probably efficiently, continuously do that. Like not just here and there or like in just big games against Ole Miss or, Alabama or something like that. But like, when you're playing these like Florida, Georgia Techs, like, hey, like let's still beat them by 35. Like, let's go. But I love the kid. I think he's a phenomenal player. And I think he's due for a big season here. But in a quick break, don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed the video so far, do not forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. Back to the video. Next question here. Lady Dog said, what's the answer for NIL discrepancies between schools? Basically Texas and the rest of us. And revolving transfer portal door. That's interesting. That's really interesting because I think the answer for the most part is just the coaching gap, I feel like. Like, you look at Indiana this last year, like their NIL wasn't crazy. And they didn't even have a 5-star on their team. They still won the national championship. So I see where you're coming from there, where Texas is like getting all these crazy good players and how they're paying all these good players and players in general nowadays, which sucks, but it's true. Like, they'll go where the money is. That's where they go. And talent will go where the money is. But just because they have talent doesn't mean they're going to produce on the field. It's just, I feel like that's generally the case. But I agree. Like, I feel like there should be some sort of maybe like regulation and be like, hey, you can only pay a player this amount of money. But like, then again, they're going to come out and say like, does Jeremiah Smith, is he the same amount, like caliber kind of player as, I don't know, like who's like Tate Sindell, the kicker from Oklahoma? Like, those guys are completely different caliber guys. Like, he should probably not be getting paid the same as a kicker. But I don't know. Like I said, I think coaching and culture and team camaraderie really comes down to that kind of evens everything out. Because you can have a team of 5 stars, egotistical maniacs out there all wanting their money. They could win, 3-4 games just off talent. But when it comes to matchup games, head-to-head games, versus a team that's, hard-nosed, gritty, wants to win, gets hit multiple times but get right back up, just like Gunnar Stockton, like, they're going to kind of fall on their face and be like, damn, like, I don't want to play these guys anymore. Like, hey, it's just, longevity-wise. But, yeah, I just think the answer for that would probably be camaraderie, coaching, teammates, creating a culture, a team culture. I mean, look at Texas Tech. Texas Tech did it pretty well. I mean, they paid everyone, but they also have a really, really strong team culture, and they made the playoff. I know they didn't score a point in the playoff, but still, like, had a really impressive season. But that was a really good question, really interesting question, really good video topic potentially later. So I appreciate you. But next question here, Lower East Side Dog said, which Big Ten team that's been middle of the road the past few years do you think might step forward in 2026? Michigan State, Washington, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Iowa. I talked about this a little bit already, but I was huge on Iowa last year just because I feel like they have the pieces right there. Like, Coach Ferentz is track record is super successful. They're basically above 500 every single season. I know that's not like great in college football, but like 8-9 wins every single season, go to a bowl game, usually beat an SEC team in a bowl game. So my heart wants to say Iowa, but I am going to say Iowa. I am going to say Iowa just because if they can just get a quarterback and some receivers, they are like set. And they thought they had a guy with Gronowski. I already kind of brought this up because Oregon fans also asked me this question. I was just like, if they had a little bit more than Gronowski, because Gronowski was there he was good for like 2 or 3 weeks, and then he just kind of like plummeted down a little bit. And no shot to him. It just, his game was up and down, fluctuating. But they have the running back room. They have the depth of running back room. They usually always have a really good O-line. They can run the ball really, really well. And then their defense is usually always stellar. Like, they held Oregon to, I think it was like 16 points, 13, 16 points. Like, granted, it was a monsoon that game, but still, like, that's against an Oregon team that's extremely talented. So that one team I think that kind of like breaks the seal first from being in that mid-tier is Iowa, just because of the coaching, of their track record of they want to win. It's right where they're right there. They're right there. The door is cracked for them. Can they just kind of finally break through? The second team I'd probably say they're Michigan State, just because of the hire of Pat Fitzgerald guys and get some guys from the portal, good recruiting class. Like, it's going to take some time. I know you were talking about the 2026 season, but it's going to take some time. But I'd say Michigan State is probably a team to watch out for in the future, just future reference. I'd have maybe just like circle and be like, or just highlight them and be like, hey, like, they might have a decent year this year, maybe a decent year next year, and then like maybe a breakout season in 2028 or something like that. And you're like, where'd they even come from? This video. I told you now, this video is when they come from. But my main answer there would probably be Iowa. I just think they're right there. I think they're right there. They just need a quarterback and some receivers, and they'll break through. Because they usually always have tight ends, running backs, offensive line, like I said. But Iowa, man, right there. But next question here. Pasadena Dog said, at Zak Herbstreit, what's the best game day atmosphere you've been to, either as a player or as a fan? Maybe do a top 5. Love this question. Absolutely love this question. Okay, top 5 here. And this is like completely, unprepared here, unprovoked. I'm just going right into it. I'd say 5 would probably have to be, I'm going to say probably Penn State's up there. Penn State's there. And then I'm going to go Athens. Then I'm going to go Notre Dame. Ohio State versus Notre Dame in 2023 was probably incredible. And then I got to go, Texas A&M was incredible too when they do their little sway. Unreal. That was actually crazy to watch. And we went in December for the playoff game, and it just looked like a painting. You looked around and you were just like, whoa, this is crazy. But yeah, they were probably 2, and then number 1, there's nothing like the shoe, man. Really, there really is nothing like the shoe. And that is probably bias, sure, but you see everyone bounce into the Seven Nation Army, and the amount of just memories I have in the shoe, and growing up going to games in the shoe, it's I'm starting to get emotional just thinking about it. But like, beating Michigan in the shoe, it's awesome. It's such a cool, and I know this is a Georgia video, and I know a lot of people don't like Ohio State, but ever given the opportunity to go to a game in the shoe or in Columbus, I highly recommend it. It's an incredible, incredible experience. But Athens, it's probably in my 4th spot. Dude, it is so crazy in Athens. Between the hedges, it's so cool. I seriously, and I'm not just saying that just because it's a Georgia video, but we went, like I said, 3 or 4 times last year. Y'all know how to throw, especially in a Georgia night game. Oh, nothing like it. Seriously, nothing like it. But next question here, final question. Nogdog321 said, how does it feel living in Peter's shadow in the Herbstreit family? It hurts. It hurts a lot. I'm kidding. I'm just so glad my dad is going out on the road and gets to kind of share Peter with all of y'all, because, I mean, he's obviously a bright light to us, and just such a, he's like a comfort. He's like, when they're talking about like comfort movies, comfort food, he's like, he's like a comfort animal to us. So like, you could have like a terrible, terrible day, come home and just see that face, and you're like, dang, dude, like, you can't help but smile, right? So I'm just so glad he's able to come out there on the road and for y'all to meet him. He's a great dog, so well-mannered, so, so happy all the time. His tongue's always out of his mouth. He's not real sometimes. He actually does. He looks like a stuffed animal, which is incredible. But he's the best, and it hurts. It hurts sometimes because they're like, oh yeah, how's people come up to me all the time? They're like, yeah, so you're Peter's brother? I'm like, yeah, that's me. I'm Peter's brother. But no, I'm just joking. He's the best, and I'm glad he's so widespread. And he's kind of like the mascot of college football right now. He's earned it, and I'm glad my dad's letting y'all also kind of enjoy him as well. It's been cool to see over the past couple of years. But Georgia fans in general, I appreciate you guys for watching. Like I said, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. My name is Zak Herbstreit. I'll see you guys soon.